kitchen. This evening I'm going to show you how to make a banana bread. This recipe is fairly old. It was my grandmother's. It's delicious and you're going to love it. What you need is 2 cups of flour. Most flours today come pre-sifted, so you shouldn't have to sift it at all. Bananas, you're going to need a total of 2 cups of bananas. I usually start with 4. I like mine to be a little bit brown. If they have any green on them at all, they'll be really bitter and you won't like the flavor of your bread. So this is kind of like what I like my bananas to look like. You're going to need a 8 by 4 bread pan. I prefer to use glass. A lot of people like the aluminum, but I prefer the glass. You're going to need 1 cup of white sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 cup of butter or margarine, again your choice, and that equals 1 full stick. So what you're going to do first is you're going to grease your pan. I prefer to just take a paper towel and just dab it into my shortening and grease my pan that way. A lot of people have the sprays like Pam, and they prefer to use those. That's perfectly alright as well. This is just my personal preference. You have that done. Now you're going to be cooking this in a 350-degree oven, but you do not want to turn your oven on early. Your bread is actually going to go into a cold oven, which means you're going to turn the oven on after you actually put the bread in. So what we're going to do first is, oh, I forgot to tell you, we need eggs. 2 eggs, as a matter of fact. I don't have those out, so I'm going to take a second and grab those. Okay, I'm back with the eggs. You can use brown eggs, you can use white eggs, organic, fresh, whatever you prefer. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to cream your sugar, your 1 cup of sugar, with your butter. You want to make sure it's a little bit soft. It makes it a whole lot easier for you to cream the two together. So you're going to do that. It doesn't usually take too long. I prefer a plastic spoon. Some people prefer to use a fork or a wooden spoon. Just don't beat it. Don't use your electric mixer and beat it that way. That makes it a little too fluffy for this particular recipe. Alright, it's coming along quite nicely. This is what you want it to look like. You know, just you know, kind of cream the two together so you don't have any loose sugar or bunches of butter. Alright, then you're going to mix in your eggs one at a time. I actually prefer to crack my eggs into a separate dish, and that way if I do get a shell, it's not going to go in my recipe. So there's 1. And 2. So you're going to add your eggs, and you're going to add your flour, and your 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and also your baking soda. You're going to mix all of those up really well. Try not to make a mess all over yourself like I just did. There we go, that looks good. And now for the bananas. Some people mash their bananas, some people slice them. I prefer to do a little bit of both. I personally like a little bit of banana chunk in my bread. So what I do is I just take my bananas and peel them. Make sure you have all of those strings off. And then I just take a fork and I kind of break it up into my 1 cup measure. And then just kind of gently break them down. Because like I said, I do like a little bit of banana chunk. I'm going to need another one. And again, you want 1 cup of banana. I'm going to put just a little bit more. Alright, and then you're going to add that to your batter, like so. And mix that together. And you want to keep mixing until everything is of a good consistency. You don't want to have any of the flour mixture, you know, kind of hanging out by itself. There you go. You want it to kind of look like this when you're ready. And now you just want to put it into your greased 8 by 4 inch bread pan. So this is what it will look like when it's in your baking pan. It's nice and smooth, doesn't quite go to the top, and that's okay because it will rise. But I did forget to tell you that a lot of people like nuts in their bread, pecans or walnuts. If that's the case, you want to crush them and then add them to the batter before you put them into your pan. My man personally does not like nuts in his banana bread, so I cook it without. But again, personal preference. If you want it, go ahead and add it. If you don't, it's wonderful without it. So now I'm going to put this in the oven. Remember, it's a cold oven. I'm going to put it on the rack, and then I'm going to turn the oven on to 350 degrees for 1.5 hours. And what you want to do is set your timer for about 1 hour and 20 minutes, and then take a toothpick, insert it into the center of the bread. If it comes out clean, your bread is done. If it has a little bit of batter stuck to it, you want to give it that last 10 minutes. So that's a good trick to use, and I'm going to stick this in the oven, and I'll be back in 1.5 hours. Hi, and welcome back. It has been about 1 hour and 25 minutes. The bread is out of the oven. I took a wooden toothpick, inserted it into the center, and it came out clean, which tells me that the bread is done. Look how yummy that looks, nice and golden brown. Then you want to take a knife, and you want to just go around the edges of the pan, just to loosen it so it will come out a little bit easier. You want to let it cool for about 5 minutes before you do that. And then you're just going to take it and flip it over into your hand, just like that. Put it onto your plate, and there you go. That is your finished banana bread. Now you can slice it and then twirl it around your plate. It's still a little bit warm to slice. I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like if you twirl it around. Look at that steam roll from the bread. Looks so good. Well, something like that. Then you just take your corners and you just pull them towards you. It makes this really pretty circle around, but this bread right now is still a little too warm to do that too. It's going to start breaking apart. So there you have it. It's Grandma's banana bread recipe. Very, very good. And just in case you didn't get it at the very beginning, I'm going to run down through the ingredients again. It is 1 cup of white sugar, a half a cup of butter or margarine, which equals one whole stick, 2 eggs, white, brown, doesn't matter, about 3 bananas. You want them to equal 2 cups. 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Like I said, most of it already comes sifted, so that's a good thing, helps out a lot. 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And again, pecans or walnuts, if you choose to. I choose not to. And that's it. Thank you for joining me today, and you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.